All right, let's talk about the most boring concept in all of business, the business plan. Ugh. Wait, before you exit this video, you should know that every top producer in your market has at least one thing in common. They have a plan, and that plan is what got them to where they are. Studies show that you are 42% more likely to hit your goals simply by writing them down. But did you know that your odds go up to 91% if you write them down and give yourself a deadline? And that's really all a great business plan is. So go ahead and delete the 5-page business plan template that you found on Google. It isn't worth the paper that you wasted to print it. Instead, I'm going to show you how to create a legit plan for your real estate business in less than 5 minutes. The entire plan will be one page. It'll be easy to understand. And most importantly, it will give you a clear path to hit your income goals this year. It only takes 5 minutes and you can get started immediately, no matter what time of year it is. Real quick, by the way, I do a full 1-hour training on this exact topic entitled How to Double Your Business with Reverse Engineering. It goes in depth on this topic and comes with free downloads of 3 new calculators, 3 marketing playbooks to get you started getting more clients after you have a plan. If you want the training, just like this video, share it with a friend, and comment shared below, and I'll send you a private link to the training. All right, here's what I'm going to cover in this video. 3 quick lessons. Lesson number 1, setting your goal. Remember, if you aim at nothing, you're going to hit it every single time. So I'm going to walk you through how to set a clear, specific goal for your real estate business, one that gets you excited about going to work in the morning. Lesson number 2, how to reverse engineer your goal. I'll show you how to take your goal and reverse engineer it or work backwards to break it down into its individual ingredients that you can use to make your goal a reality. Then lesson number 3, creating a plan to hit your goal. This is the most important lesson. After we've broken down your goal into bite-sized activities, let's build a step-by-step plan to actually do them. All right, let's dive into lesson number 1, how to set goals for your real estate business. So in order to start this process, I have to show you how to download my reverse engineer calculator. So let me share my screen and show you how to do that. So you're going to get it at nerdsheets.com. This is a free app that my company, Guerilla Realty, we created to be a briefcase of all of our best calculators. So these are the calculators that we use to run our real estate business here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And we share them with you guys so that you can use them to run your business. So you can either create a new account if you don't have one. If you have the one Guerilla Realty account, the one account to rule them all, then you can get access to all of our free apps. So I'm just going to click sign in and log in with an existing account. And we are ready to go. So this is, again, a really simple app. It is a briefcase of all of our best call scripts. And what I want you to do is I want you to scroll to the bottom. You're looking for our reverse engineer calculator. You can see it's been used by over 1,400 agents in the last year. And we're just going to click open calculator. And now it's time for me to move my big ugly mug out of the way. And I'm going to break down how this whole thing works. So what you're looking at is our reverse engineer calculator. But first up, this is a view-only file. To actually use this calculator, you'll need to make a copy for yourself. Pay attention to this note. Click File, Make a Copy, and you're ready to go. So I'm going to follow those instructions. File, Make a Copy. My copy of Guerilla Realty's reverse engineer calculator. And then I'm going to click Make a Copy. And this is going to produce a new Google spreadsheet that I can now use and edit. All right. Now let's talk about setting your goal. So here is where you're going to set your goal. So we like to boil all of our goals in real estate down to one quantifiable figure that we call TMI, right? TMI in this case doesn't stand for too much information, right? Like what your aunt does at Thanksgiving. Okay. Har har. TMI stands for target monthly income. And what we're doing is we're boiling all of your goals in real estate. And you might have a bunch of different goals, right? Maybe you want to be the top producer in your office, right? Maybe you want to take lots of new construction listings, get a builder listing. Maybe you want to, for the first time ever, take 40 listings in a single year. I don't know what your goals are, okay? But what we want to do is we want to take all those goals and we want to distill them into a simple quantifiable number that can be reverse engineered. And that is the target monthly income, right? So target monthly income means, very simply, the amount of cash flow that you want to come in from your real estate sales business on a monthly basis. All right. And so the easiest way to figure this out is to figure out, maybe you've actually thought about what you want your annual net income to be. You could divide that figure by 12. Okay. Another better way to find your target monthly income would be to use our Dreamline calculator. And we do another video. It should already be out on our channel. It's on our Dreamline calculator. And you can use that process to take all of your personal and professional goals and put them into a calculator, and it'll actually break them all down, and it'll create a target monthly income that builds into it buffers for tax savings. You know, taxes typically sneak up on us in this business, and it'll also build in things like generosity. Maybe you're giving to a local church or a local charity. It'll build things like that into it, and it'll actually build additional buffer in case your budget isn't exactly dead on accurate. So I recommend checking out our Dreamline calculator. It's also found in Nerd Sheets, but first watch our YouTube video on how to use it. But it'll be really, really, really useful. So once you've come up with your target monthly income, let me give you a couple of tips for setting the correct goal for your business. So I do this training with agents all the time, one-on-one. And whenever I go through this reverse engineer calculator, basically I quiz them, I quiz you, and then I put all of your answers into the spreadsheet, and then we build a business plan from it. And here are the pitfalls that I see. So the first thing is that when I get to their target monthly income, agents do one of two things. All right. Either one, and this is way more common, they undershoot their goal, right? And so maybe they've had a tough couple of years. Maybe you've had a tough couple of years in real estate. And so your goal is like, well, gosh, if I could just make $5,000 a month, I would be thrilled. Now, first of all, if your true goal is $5,000 a month, I'm not beating up on that. All right. Maybe this is a side income. Maybe you're a dual career agent. Maybe this is a second income for your family, and $60,000 annual net income would be absolutely fantastic for you. And if that's it for you, kudos. Okay. I'm not beating up on anybody here, but for the vast majority of agents, $60,000 in net income per year represents a pretty mediocre income, right? And so these agents that have been beat up, maybe had a tough couple of years, they're like, man, if I could just get back to making a consistent income, I don't even care what it is, right? And that's the wrong way to set the goal. So I'll talk about the other pitfall. On the other end of the spectrum, we have agents that come in and they're like, I want to make $1 million per month, right? So $12 million per year. Now, by the way, some of you guys watching this video, your realistic goal, you have a realistic chance of hitting 12 million in net income. That's fantastic for you. Maybe you've got a large team. Maybe you work in a luxury market. Maybe you're just an absolute rock star that is, doing 100 plus luxury transactions per, I don't know. Okay. But here's what I would recommend. Okay. Whatever your annual net income goal is, when you think about, okay, what has been, what did I do last year? What has been my best year? I recommend that you always be getting an increase on whatever that is. All right. So if you had a decent, if you feel solid about what you did last year, I would recommend that you set a goal that is somewhere between 10 and 20% above last year. Okay. Maybe you had the stuffing knocked out of you for the last couple of years and it's been tough, and you want to get back to what you were doing 3 to 5 years ago. Okay. What I would recommend is that you set your goals to, but generally, right, realistic growth means growing somewhere between 10 and 40% from what you did last year. Okay. There are even extreme cases where you absolutely, if you had a really bad year, you can absolutely double your production volume in a single year. And so what I would recommend is, just as like a rule of thumb, this is going to apply to everybody, but I would recommend is look at what you made last year, divided by 12. That was your monthly income last year. To set a new target monthly income, I would recommend that you increase that somewhere between 10 and 40%, unless it was just a really horrible year for you. And if it was a really horrible year for you, what I would do is I would find the last good year that you had, maybe one of your best years, and I would try to grow 10 to 40% from that year. Make sense? Hope so. All right. So that's my advice for setting the right goal. And in the next lesson, we'll talk about how to reverse engineer it and break it down. All right. Lesson number 2, how to reverse engineer your goals, how to break them down into bite-sized activities that you can actually meet. So breaking down your goals. So now that we've set your target monthly income, now what we need to do is we need to input your stats We need to build your assumptions, and then we'll be looking at our targets and we'll build a plan from that in lesson number 3. So why are we doing this? What is the whole point of reverse engineering? So here's why we do this, right? We know what your goal is now in real estate. So you've set that as your target monthly income. And you can actually follow along while you're watching the video if you want to open this in a separate screen and just split screen it, all right? So we know what your target monthly income is, right? But here's what we discovered a long time ago. You cannot directly affect your income. Did you know that? All right. And what I mean is you can't just clench your fist, close your eyes and grit your teeth and just will commission checks to appear in your bank account, right? Now, if you ever figure out how to do that, drop a comment below. I've got like 50,000 agents on our email list that would love to jump on a free webinar with you so you can teach us too. But obviously that's not how things work, okay? So you can't directly affect your income. Oh, that sounds depressing, Chris. You can't directly affect your income, all right? But we have discovered after studying literally 10,000 real estate businesses, from solo agent practices like yours to large teams to brokerages, what we found is that there is one single factor that will always accurately predict your income. You guys know what it is? It's the number of qualified sales leads that you bring into your business on a monthly basis. I'm going to repeat that one more time. You can write this down. It's really important for you to get out of this video. It is the number of qualified sales leads that you bring into your business on a monthly basis. So let me define our term. So what's a qualified sales lead, Chris? Well, a qualified sales lead for us, we define it as a name and a phone number, meaning somebody that we can make human to human contact with. So name and phone number of somebody that, statistically speaking, will be under contract in the next 70 days in a real estate transaction, obviously. Okay, that's what a qualified sales lead is. So not somebody that has to be nurtured for 3 years. You know, it's called a friend, not a lead. Okay, you're building a friendship and then you're hoping that they do business with you. No, we're talking about leads. So qualified sales leads, name and phone number of somebody that is statistically going to be under contract in the next 70 days, right? And then monthly. Why does it have to be on a monthly basis? Well, it's a very cyclical business. Buyers come in, they buy, they're gone, right? Sellers come in, they sell, they're gone. You can't generate enough leads in January that it'll feed you all year. Instead, you have to be bringing these qualified sales leads in every single month, right? And I really want you to get this, and I really want to underscore this, that the number one predictor, really the only predictor of your income in real estate, is how many leads you're bringing in on a monthly basis, okay? So now that we know that, what we can do is we can break down your target monthly income, and we can work backwards, okay, just using simple 6th grade mathematics to work backwards and reverse engineer that target monthly income goal of 21,000 in this case, to figure out what are the constituent ingredients that have to go into making that goal a reality, right? And so what we're going to do next is we're going to enter your market stats. And so I'm just going to use national averages to the best of my knowledge. Last time I checked, the national median sale price for home was $411,000. The average commission, in my experience, this is observational. I don't have any specific data on this, is about 2 3/4. Most of the Southeast and many parts of the Midwest is strong at 3%. Obviously, a lot of the coastal areas and big cities have dropped to about 2.5% average commission or typical commission. So I'm going to plug in 2.75% as a typical commission, and then the company split. So I'm not going to go deep into this here, but I do recommend a tool that we built called Split Crunch. You can find it at splitcrunch.com. I'll also leave a link to it in the video description. But Split Crunch helps us cut through all the BS in the world of company splits. So there's a lot of companies out there that promise 100%. When you actually figure out all the different ways that they're nickel and diming you, you're really not making or keeping that much money, right? And so your effective company split is very simple, okay? It's your GCI, okay? Or actually, sorry, let me back up, okay? It is your total net commission, so the dollars that actually hit your bank account last year, okay? Minus all fees, okay? So fees that your company charged you, and then divide that by your total GCI, right? So fees meaning virtual office fees, like monthly fees, per transaction fees, right? Office fees, rent, etc., plus the actual split itself, including, if you're paying a 6% franchise fee, and a lot of you guys are, okay? So subtract all the fees that they charge you and then divide that into your total GCI. Okay. And that equals your effective split. So don't just say, oh, I'm with EXP, it's 80%. It might be a little less unless you're doing a high volume, and then it might be a little more. So Split Crunch will help you get down to the brass tacks of your company split, your effective company split at the end of the year, down to 100%. It's very accurate, but I recommend that you be very accurate with this. Okay. So once you know your company split, then you can plug it in. I'd say average these days is somewhere around 80%. Pretty much nobody does worse than that. If you're doing worse than that, I recommend find a new company. I don't care how much you like your broker or what they're giving you. It doesn't warrant them keeping more than 20% of your commission dollars. Hate to step on toes, but it's just a personal soapbox of mine. All right, so move on to your assumptions. All right, so only thing that you have to edit here. So you edit these 3 fields. Anything with a dotted border, you're going to fill out. Okay, and so then you're going to rate your phone skills on a scale of 1 to 10. This is really easy. Don't overthink it. Rate your phone skills from a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being you're terrified of making phone calls. In fact, when I said phone calls, your palms broke out in a sweat. Okay, you suck. Meanwhile, 10 represents, you could teach a master class on, you look forward to, making calls. You convert leads into closed deals all the time. You convert raw leads into listing appointments or buyer appointments all the time. You could even teach a master class on helping other agents to be more like you. Okay, that would be like a 10. Okay, so I'm just going to put average. All right, if your phone skills are average, you probably put 5. Okay, and then the last thing that you have to enter is you have to design. This is going to blow some of your minds. You have to choose, in an ideal world, what percentage of your buyers, or what percentage of your closings are going to come from buyers versus sellers, right? So you're going to change your sellers, right? And for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to put 50-50. Okay. I actually recommend for most agents that it be 70-30. Why do we want more sellers? Well, it's nothing new for a guru on the internet to tell you to take more listings, right? You got to list to last, I think is what everybody says. I actually have a different take on this. I personally love working with buyers. If I only go with one type of client for the rest of my life, it'd probably be buyers in terms of personal enjoyment. I love the art of negotiation, and I love batting for or going to bat for buyers that are oftentimes underrepresented. And the reason why is because all the rock star agents out there, they only work with sellers, or they only want to work with sellers. And so I find that oftentimes buyers in our industry are underrepresented, or they're represented by newer agents or less experienced agents. So I love going to bat for buyers, right? So I'm a big fan of working with buyers. However, right, when it comes to building a sustainable and scalable business, I find that it's really important that at least 50% of all your business come from listings, because listings are more scalable. And a close friend of mine put it this way one time: if you had 10 active listings, you could get them all showed this weekend. However, if you had 10 active buyers, there's no way that you're doing buyer showings with all 10 of them in the same weekend. It's just not possible, right? And so listings are far more scalable. I'm not going to say they're less work, but they're just more scalable. You can manage more of them simultaneously than you can buyers. So my ideal split is 70-30. Let's just say that, we're working with someone that's wanting to break into the listing side of the business. And so we just put a clean 50-50. Okay. Now let's talk lesson number 3, how to build a plan, or building a plan to hit your goals. All right, this is it, the third and final lesson: how to create a plan that helps you hit your goal. So let's get into it. In lesson 1, we set your goal, $21,000 in target monthly income. In lesson number 2, we reverse engineered that just by inputting our basic market stats, median sale price, average commission, and company split. And then we rated our phone skills, or our ability to convert leads into closed transactions or clients here under the assumptions. And then we custom designed what percentage of our business comes from sellers versus buyers. And this may be a new idea for you, but do you know that you can actually design what you want your business to be like? Right? That's one of the big light bulb moments that I want to come from this video, is that you can choose. You don't just have to take whatever comes your way, right? You don't have to be that white feather at the beginning of Forrest Gump, great movie, that white feather that's just being tossed about. by the wind. It's a metaphor for Forrest Gump's life, right? I don't want you to be Forrest Gump. I want you to choose, right? In lesson number 1, we talked about choosing what you wanted to go after. Okay. Then we broke it down into its constituent ingredients. And now in lesson number 3, I want to create a plan, right? A series of step-by-step activities that you can follow that will decisively get you to your goal, right? And a business plan doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be formal. It doesn't have to impress anybody. It should ideally be something that's simple, easy to understand. You can print it out on one page, which you'll do, and I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. And then it should be something that holds you accountable. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So remember, I broke down why we reverse engineer, and it's because we want to take your target monthly income and we want to figure out what has to be true in order to make that happen. And what has to be true is we have to determine how many qualified sales leads per month do you have to bring in to hit your goal. And so the examples that I gave you, if you wanted to earn $21,000 in target monthly income based on this market, based on your phone skills, and based on wanting 50% of your business to come from sellers, 50% from buyers, then here's what we know is true. We know that you need 28 closings in this market to make that happen, right? Even just now, just knowing how many closings you have to do, most of you guys probably do this math anyway on a piece of paper, but just knowing how many closings exactly you need in order to hit this target monthly income can be very clarifying in terms of thinking about your business. But we're going to break it down even further because that is not enough. All right. So we're using an advanced statistical model that we built and fine-tuned over the years to tell us exactly how many leads will have to go into getting that many closings. And here's the bottom line that I want everybody to get. Big takeaway from this video. Your lead number is much higher than you think. So we've polled realtors over the years. We ask them simple questions like, hey, how much do you want to make? And how many leads per month do you think that you would have to get in order to hit that kind of income or have that many closings? And here's what we found, right? So we've been doing this for a long time. So like the most typical answer is, oh, Chris, I want to hit 6 figures in real estate. I want to do 100,000 in annual net income. Great, fantastic goal. How many leads do you think that you have to generate every month in order to hit 100,000? And you'll see them kind of furrow their brow and they'll think about it. They'll do a little bit of head math, and then they usually trot out an answer like probably like somewhere between 5 and 10 leads per month. Wrong. Okay. So I'll just show you that that's never going to be true. In the most average market in America, if your goal was to earn an annual net income of 100,000, okay, then your monthly lead number is going to be 35 if you have average phone skills. If you're an absolute master, your lead number is still going to be 26. Do you guys get that? Okay. So here's what I want you to take away. This is the big light bulb moment, is your lead number is much larger than you think it is. Okay. And you need to get to your lead number or you're never going to see your target monthly income, right? So most realtors get stuck if they rely primarily on referrals and sphere of influence type marketing. They get stuck because they're doing a certain number of deals every year just because their friends rely on them. Okay, nothing wrong with that. And so anytime you have a friend or a friend of a friend who needs help in real estate, they come to you. All right. But in terms of scaling the business, right, unless you could just manufacture new friends and family, which newsflash, you can't. Okay. They always struggle to scale the business because they have no idea what their lead number is. And if they knew what their lead number was, then they would know why you're not hitting your income goals. So look at this, right? So once you do the reverse engineer calculator, maybe you're split screening this right now. And so you know what your lead number is. In fact, can everybody, once they do this, just go to the comments? It would help us boost the algorithm to get more comments anybody's. But I would love to know your lead number. And I read every last YouTube comment. So post your lead number in the comments. I would love to know what it is. And I would love to know if you're surprised by how high it is. Okay. But this is accurate. You can take this to the bank. This will get to your goal. So here's what I'll underscore here. If you can hit this number, bring in 88 leads per month on a monthly basis, then this number will take care of itself. Right? Think about that just for a minute. Okay. What we're doing is we're boiling your entire business and all of your goals down to one single thing that you can focus on. And what this is going to do is provide a huge relief for you. So instead of waking up tomorrow and running in a million different directions, trying to do a million different things to hit all of your different goals, what if you could just focus on just the one thing? What if you could just focus on getting 88 leads per month. Okay. That's probably a huge relief. And yet it's also scary because I'm guessing a lot of you guys have no idea how to get 88 leads per month. Or if you do, it probably involves ideas like spending thousands of dollars on Zillow, spending tens of thousands of dollars on Facebook ads or some such. And it just sounds like it's impossible and it costs a lot of money. It doesn't have to be. So my company, Guerilla Realty, we built a complete marketing engine. It's called Pro Tools. And this is not an ad for Pro Tools, although I do recommend it to everybody. What I recommend inside of Pro Tools is you get a series of playbooks. So we published 31 playbooks. You guys probably already know this, that are tested and proven to work across North America to help you get leads. Any one of them could help you get 80 leads per month, like even one of them. In fact, just go to our YouTube channel, look up Facebook Marketplace, look up Zillow Hack on our YouTube channel, and that'll be a playbook. We'll break it down for you right there in the YouTube video, 100% free of charge. And that'll be a playbook that you can use to get 80 leads per month. Do not be intimidated by that number. Now, maybe your number is not 80, but if it is, don't be intimidated by the number 80. That is easy. And in this case, it's 88. Okay. So what you need to do next is you need to build a marketing plan. And I'm not going to cover the exact marketing plan in this video, but you need to build a marketing plan that gets you to 88 leads per month. And I'm going to tell you this. Okay. How many leads did you generate last month? It probably wasn't 88. And that is why you're not hitting your monthly income goal. So I want you to remember that. Okay. Come back to this video as often as you need. But what I recommend is you go File, Print. Okay. And I recommend that you print this out and I want you to put it somewhere. Okay. Let me move my ugly face out of the way. I want you to put it somewhere where you're going to see it every single day. And then I recommend that you get a highlighter or a pen. I want you to circle this number. This is the only number that you need to worry about in your business if you're trying to grow your income in real estate. Is you worry about this number. If you focus on getting 88 names and phone numbers of people that are going to be, statistically speaking, under contract in the next 70 days, and we have good data on this, this number is going to take care of itself. Okay. And again, this number might be intimidating to you, but what you're going to find is when you get started on trying to figure out marketing playbooks, which remember, marketing playbooks is just a step-by-step activity that you follow that will get you new leads every time you do it. Right. So you're going to have to string enough playbooks together or go-to tricks together to bring you 88 leads. But if you start focusing on this, what you're going to find is that it's actually a huge relief and you're going to feel like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. So instead of worrying about all the different things in your business cards, websites, your Instagram, your Facebook, your TikTok channel, instead of worrying about all those different things, if you're just worried about getting 88 leads per month, all that other stuff is going to melt away. You're going to find a huge relief. And then put that marketing plan together and make sure that it's something that's duplicatable. So something you can repeat every single month to get to 88 leads every single month. But when you do, the 28 closings, they're going to happen almost on their own. The $21,000 in target monthly income, it's going to take care of itself, right? So that is our reverse engineer process. That's all 3 lessons. I hope you enjoy. Remember, post your lead number in the comments below. It'd be a huge favor to us because it'll help this video do well in the algorithm. But more importantly, I'm just curious about your lead number. I'd love to know how many leads you need in order to hit your income goals. All right, guys, take care. So there you have it. An incredible 1-page business plan in less than 5 minutes. If you did it right, you should feel a change in your confidence. You should feel that your real estate goals, maybe for the first time ever, are actually possible. I recommend that you print out your plan, pin it somewhere that you'll see it every day, and circle your lead number at the bottom. This is now your only goal. Focus on your lead number and closings will take care of themselves. Thanks so much for watching, guys. And would you do me a favor and give us a like and a comment to help this video in the algorithm? It means a lot to us. And if you want more videos like this, subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos 2 times per week. Look, we've doubled our real estate business 3 times since 2019. If you want the full breakdown, exact scripts, step-by-step processes, and our brand new tool, drop a comment below.
No gimmicks, no paywalls. We're sending it completely free because we know it works.
Just type "send it" in the comments and we'll get it to you ASAP.
And if this was helpful, stick with us. We're dropping more strategies twice a week. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what's next.